Welcome to Call Glass. I'm Evan Hale, and I got a very special guest with me today. Jack Gohlke, a March Madness legend, currently a 6'3" guard on the Motor City Cruise in the G League. Just straight hooper, straight bucket. Welcome to the show, Jack.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me on, Evan. I'm excited just to get on and talk some ball today. So, yeah, appreciate you having me.
Yeah, awesome. I just want to go. We're just gonna tell your story. I want to ask you some questions, and we're gonna hit all your hoop, all your hoop spots, and kind of tell your story about basketball before the fame and now after with all your making it to the league and everything. So start out as a 0-star out of is it Pewaukee? Is that how you say it?
Yes,
Pewaukee,
sir.
Wisconsin.
Pewaukee.
It's Pewaukee High. Did you have? I didn't see. Did you have any D1 offers?
Yeah, so coming out, I didn't have any D1 offers. I went to a lot of uh, camps around the area, like trying to get interest from D1s and stuff like that, but never got anything. And Hillsdale, where I ended up, was my only full ride to the D2 level. So it was pretty simple decision for me to make to go there
Oh
and
yeah,
get school paid for. So I was happy with it at the time.
yeah. So you end up at Hillsdale. You're there for 5 years. Midwest kid through and through. It seems like ended up
Absolutely.
not too far from home. Um, and you were a bucket at Hillsdale, especially I was. It's kind of hard to find the stats. I was kind of
Yeah.
go through,
Yeah.
but once you go a few years back, it's kind of hard to find them. But I do know that y'all made the D2 tournament your last year, and
Yeah.
you guys lost, but you were a bucket that game. You led the team in points. I think you hit 6 threes.
Yeah.
You
Sounds all
I
right.
mean you were a bucket, and so you have a redshirt year and a COVID year. Is that how you got the 6 year at Oakland?
Yeah, yeah. So when I got to school at Hillsdale, honestly, like I wasn't that great. I definitely needed some time to develop. So yeah, I took that redshirt year, took advantage of that, and just got better. Got in the gym and kind of just kept developing over the years. And we had a couple really good tournament runs in my time at Hillsdale, which was a ton of fun. Got experience playing in big games and stuff like that. Obviously, not the same thing as the NCAA tournament at the D1 level, but games that were as important, just not as nationally watched and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But then yeah, just was because of the COVID situation and the free season that the NCAA gave, I was able to take that graduate year and go try the Division 1 level and challenge myself. And I was really excited to have that opportunity, and everything just worked out really well because my coach at Hillsdale knew Coach Campy at Oakland, and they kind of made that connection, and Coach Tharp from Hillsdale just told Oakland like that I would be a good fit there, and kind of the rest was history after that.
That's awesome. So did you have any other offers from anywhere, or that was kind of just like you had the connection there and you just went straight through?
Yeah, I had a couple other offers, like Lipscomb and SIUE, a couple schools like that in the Missouri Valley or OVC, those type of schools. But Oakland was just a great fit and somewhere that I wanted to go. So it worked out pretty well that like that connection was there, and I knew I had watched a lot of Horizon League basketball before and knew a lot about Oakland and kind of the roles that they had, the shooter they always had, stuff like that. So I was excited to make that my next home.
Yeah, underrated basketball conference. It's a fun league.
Yeah,
My dad's from Cleveland, Ohio. It's a Cleveland State. I kept up with
awesome.
them
Yeah,
before and stuff like that. So, also SIUE. They were the first team to make the tournament this year. I remember seeing that when
yeah,
they came across.
absolutely.
So you're gonna be a good program regardless. So transfer to Oakland, but not California, Michigan. Was that mixed up a lot, especially because it's the Bears too, and that's so big in California.
Yeah, it was definitely funny. Like people from my hometown, kind of like telling me congrats or whatever. Like good luck in your season at Oakland. Like, are you excited to move to California or like whatever it was? And I was like, nah, like I'll be in Detroit. So
Yeah,
definitely a little confusion there, but nothing I wasn't used to.
yeah. You had a good year out there too. You had 13.1 points, 4.1 boards. You shot 38% from three. Like a really solid year out there. I mean, you guys had a couple guys who averaged double digit points. You
Yeah,
guys, you had a solid team, and you had some good games early. I mean, you look at your first two losses are to a close one to Ohio State and a close one to Illinois. And then you beat Xavier like a week later, I think, or 2 weeks later.
yeah,
Like, had a good RPI. It looks like, you were looking good. I mean, I think it was a 4-point game with a ranked Illinois. Like that's nothing to scratch out there. And then you go 15-5 in conference. I mean, was there a point when you realized like, oh, this team's pretty special? Like we got a chance to at least make the tournament and maybe make some noise when we're there.
Yeah, I mean, in the preseason, like I knew that we had a good team, but I was just new to the D1 level, so I didn't really know like kind of how we were going to compete, especially in those non-conference games. I wasn't really sure what to expect. I was just going into them with confidence and thinking highly of ourselves, but I didn't know like how good are these teams actually, like how do we compare, all that type of stuff. So I think after we had those games and we thought maybe we should have even won another one of them or something like that, that we kind of built some confidence in ourselves. And obviously there was definitely some stretches in the season where things didn't go right. I mean, you're never going to be perfect for an entire season, but we just really kind of found ourselves sticking together and just learning together as the season went on. And I think our best trait was just that we peaked at the right time. Like at the end of the season was kind of when we got hot, and we kind of just rode that wave and just built confidence as the games went on. So yeah, I would say we expected to be good, but you can't really ever say you expect to make the tournament and win a game or anything like that when the
Yeah.
season starts. Like that's the goal, but you can't like say that those are your expectations.
Yeah, I imagine you, like you said, the talent. You hadn't played D1 before, so I imagine the talent jump just with your
Hmm.
teammates. I mean, Trey Townsend, he's a bucket.
Yeah,
I mean,
no, absolutely.
I imagine there was some fun head to head stuff,
Oh, for sure. Yeah, no,
But
he's an amazing player.
and you just had it felt like the team, like somebody was always scoring. I once tried to look through the box scores, like I feel like somebody always had at least 25. Like somebody was always on fire. Like it was you or mostly, but you would go through it and be like somebody had 30, somebody had like 19, and then everybody else had like 4. That's
Yeah,
just how the games went,
yeah, we had
which
a
is cool. Like that's awesome.
no, it was a great season. And yeah, we had a really well built team. I would say like Coach Campy built the team really well, and we had another shooter on the team, Blake Lampman, who had some amazing
Mhm.
games too, of 7 threes, 8 threes, and like you said, Trey was always scoring a bunch, and Chris Conway, our other big man, I think he averaged like 11 or something for the season. But yeah, he had a couple explosive games of 2025. So yeah, it was definitely a well rounded squad.
That helps when you just if somebody gets hot, we're going to be in a game. That's
Absolutely.
just how it feels like. So y'all Horizon League, I think you guys were the 1 seed going into that, right?
Hmm.
Um, had some close games though. I mean, it was a 3-point game with Cleveland State in the semis. I mean, you hit 7 threes that game. I mean, one of those in the fall.
Yeah.
Maybe when I do
No,
this interview right now, that's just how crazy life goes.
no,
Um,
absolutely.
and then you guys end up coming out of the Horizon League. Um, do you remember like watching Selection Sunday, which is tomorrow, which is pretty cool? We're doing the interview tonight.
Hmm.
Remember watching it and then seeing like Kentucky being called for you? Like, do you remember the feeling you had?
Yeah, it was funny because I think I can speak for all my teammates. Like we kind of just saw our name pop up, and we didn't even realize like who the other team was. Like we
Mhm.
just saw. I mean, we knew obviously after you win the tournament, like you're in. But just seeing our names pop up on the screen, we just were super excited and like, oh, that's amazing, like
Yeah,
celebrating, whatever. And then maybe like 5 minutes later, Coach Campy like kind of made his way to the. We had like a watch party in our gym,
yeah.
and Coach Campy kind of made his way to the podium and started talking to the crowd, and he was like, "We're excited to play Kentucky. We know like." He wasn't like talking trash or anything, but just saying like it's a great opportunity for us to be on national
Mhm.
TV, like that type of stuff. And we were all like, "Oh, like it is Kentucky." Like we saw the name on the screen, but it didn't really register with us. And then he started talking, and we got even more excited, like because obviously it's such a great opportunity and something that you always dream of playing Kentucky or Duke or North Carolina or whoever it is, just a
One of the
blue
blue
blood like
bloods.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's got to be awesome. So then, the week kind of leading up to that, like you guys did a lot of like especially Coach Campy, he did a lot of like press stuff, and he was like he was kind of like watch out, like it's so cool to look back and watch that. I imagine there are coaches who say that and then they lose. He just gets buried. You never
Yeah.
see it. But just the confidence he had in you guys, like he's like I just when we get to the game, and he was right. Like it's just awesome. So did you guys have like we're gonna win this mindset, or obviously you watch the interviews after and you hear you guys talking like, of course you guys just won. You gotta be political and be like, yeah, we knew we were gonna win. Like, but like, what was there like? Oh man, we're playing Kentucky. Like, let's just hope like
Yeah,
what's the feeling there?
I think in our locker room we had a lot of confidence, and we did a good job of kind of tuning out the outside noise because um, we had amazing fans, we had amazing support, and they just wanted the best for us. But a lot of people from the Oakland area were kind of telling us like just go out there and have fun. Like you guys earned this opportunity, like enjoy it. And we were kind of like, no, like screw that. We're going out there to win. And we're gonna have fun while doing it. But but like this isn't a reward for our season of okay, let's go out and we get to play against Kentucky and lose by 30. Like this is
Yeah.
a reward. Like let's go out there and take advantage of this opportunity that we might never have the rest of our lives on this kind of stage and this kind of environment. So yeah, I would say going into it, we had a lot of confidence. Obviously, you're never certain of what the result's going to be, but we were as confident as we could be going into that type of game.
Yeah, for sure. Like, yes, you have. I think there's a nice saying. It's like you have to be, just overly confident in yourself to succeed in sports. So,
Yeah.
You have to be almost like psychopathically, like confident if you're going to succeed. Especially as a professional athlete. It's maybe a little different
Absolutely.
mindset in college, but I mean, if you're going to compete at the highest level, you have to, believe
Yeah.
more than
No.
anybody else is.
No, definitely. I would describe it as like a delusional confidence. Sometimes you just believe in yourself so much that it doesn't really matter what the previous results were or who's in front of you or anything like that. Whatever, however highly touted they are, you just always got to believe in yourself and trust everything that you've done to get yourself to that opportunity.
Heck yeah. So then you tip off against Kentucky, and you're pretty hot immediately. I think you hit like 6 or 7 in the like of your first like 9 or 10. I think you kind of you hit someone's late, but you started off really hot.
Mm-hmm.
I remember so don't be on your phone and drive. I wasn't. It was just sitting, but I went to the first session in Charlotte last year. Saw North Carolina
Yeah.
beat the 16 seed, and then Michigan State beat Mississippi State. And I'm driving home, and I'm like, okay, let's put some games on. I live in South Carolina. Sports betting is legal in South Carolina. North Carolina, I put all my bets in. So I'm like, oh, we're just. So I was trying to keep up with some of the games, and I picked some upsets. I actually bet you guys upset. You guys made me money. Like,
Oh yeah.
I think I won like $40 off you guys upsetting
Hey,
Kentucky.
whatever it
So
is.
thanks for that, bud. But that was the game. I'm like, oh, Kentucky's losing. I'm putting that game on. Like it was, early in the second half. I'm like, just put it like, on my like dashboard. And we're driving, and it's just like Gohlke with the 3. I'm like, oh, who's this Gohlke kid? Like you kept hitting threes. I'm like, oh my god, like what's going on here? And then, it's like they said you had 9 threes and you hit 10th 3, and the record's 11. You tied for second most ever. I mean, you gave a lot of like political answers after the game, like I just was locked into the moment, but like when were you like, hell yeah, nobody can guard me. I don't care who's out there. I'm him. Like what? Like was that going through your head, or were you just like, I'm just trying to make the next shot, or like?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's interesting because like I would say like I wasn't being political or anything when I was saying like I was locked into the moment and all that stuff. But at the same time, like me being locked into the moment was like definitely like that delusional confidence of
That's good.
yeah, nobody out here can guard me. Like every shot's going in. Obviously, like focusing and then trying to make the right play and stuff like that. But at the same time, kind of just like in ultimate green light mode of just
Yeah,
every time I touch the ball, it's going up and it's going to go in. So I was
felt
I
that
was
way
definitely
watching it,
dialed
man.
in.
You hit that one late. You were like double teamed. I'm like, oh, it went in. I'm like, oh. You had 32 that game.
Mm-hmm.
All of your field goals came from behind the 3-point line, which also happened in the Cleveland State game we mentioned earlier. I think you had 2 free throws, and that was it for the extra points. But I mean, did you know in that moment, like once the final buzzer sounded, you're like, I just had like one of the best games I've ever had against Kentucky? Like, did you know like virality was coming? Did you have like inklings in the back of your head, like, oh, maybe people are going to see this? Like you talked about Kentucky, you're going to be on TV with Kentucky
Yeah.
anyways. Did you think like, oh, this might become something here?
Yeah, I don't know why, but I really just didn't. Nothing registered with me in that way. Like um, I knew it was like a huge game and it was a big thing for our school and all that type of stuff. Like I knew, oh, this is awesome, this is huge. That we just got to win for our school. Like Coach Campy's gonna have easier time recruiting, like all that type of stuff. But yeah, it didn't really register immediately, like that maybe the whole country was watching, or that with how big of a deal March Madness is, that everyone would understand what happened or know about this performance. Like that didn't really register with me. at all right away, and honestly, completely for like a month or something like that. It was just one of those things that like my life had always been pretty much exactly the same. Of like I love basketball, I play basketball, and if I have a huge game, like my close close friends and family know about it because they were watching at D2 Hillsdale or whatever it
Yeah.
was. But other than that, like no one really knew about it. And then yeah, I wouldn't say it was the best game of my life, but obviously on the biggest stage, like definitely the
Yeah.
best performance I could have had. So yeah, just the aftermath of it was something I could have never possibly expected, but it was a ton of fun and something I definitely enjoyed along the way.
Heck yeah. And then I think what cemented it, not just the performance, but you when Coach Capers get interviewed saying, "We're not a Cinderella." That like I see that in sports edits now, man. Like those are like that's like clipped in when people like for like crazy March Madness performances.
Yeah.
It's awesome. So I mean, I think you were just a media darling, is all I can say. Like you just said that you did all the right things. You played a crazy game. You upset a blue blood. You had the quotes, and then Coach Campy, helped with his
Oh
mindset,
yeah,
his
for sure.
attitude. He's definitely a character. I watch him in his interviews, and you can't not like the guy from hearing him talk about basketball. He's awesome.
Yeah, he's a great
Um,
coach.
but yeah, no, and then unfortunately, that was the only game you won in the run.
Hmm.
But it's so funny to see you guys lost to NC State, who was that team that they went to the Final Four, and very like similarly, DJ Burns was another one of those
Yeah.
tournament darlings. He had a crazy tournament. He also made me a lot of money. We'll just say it like that. But we does it make it any easier to lose to a team that goes so far when you do lose? Like, are you just like, are you just mad? Like, I lost, who cares who I lost to?
Yeah, honestly, like it makes it hard. It makes it worse when
Makes
you
it
lose to
worse.
a team that goes farther because we had them on the ropes. We had
Overtime.
went to overtime. Like there was definitely opportunities that we had that like I wouldn't say there's like regrets from the game just because we gave it everything we had, but there was definitely opportunities that if we would have made the play, like we could have advanced, and then you just get to thinking like, I mean, obviously those teams they beat were great in Marquette
Mhm.
and Duke, but you get to thinking like, what if we had those opportunities? Like, could we have won those games? Could we have got to Phoenix to play in the Final Four? Like that would have
Yeah,
been like the coolest run of all time. So so you definitely gets you thinking about that stuff and
I can
wondering
imagine.
what could have happened.
I was watching. I was rooting for you guys heavily too. I was sitting. My couch is right here. My TV's right here. I was sitting right in this room watching that game. Like, and I mean, you had 22. Trey had 30. I mean,
Yeah, Trey went crazy.
you guys both went crazy. I think you guys, just absolutely killed it. I mean, it was so much fun to watch. Even if you guys didn't pull it out, I was rooting for you guys. And
I
then,
appreciate it. Yeah.
you always root for the smaller schools and the lower
Yeah,
seeds. Like, so after NC State won, I'm rooting for them to go through. I mean,
absolutely.
James Madison, like they had a close game against Duke, like and I think Vermont almost beat Duke too. So I mean, Duke
Hmm.
they had a lot of run-ins with
Yeah.
some lower seeds. Ended up losing to NC State later, but yeah, no, it was just awesome to watch you guys. So during that interview, like in the process between the two games, you talked about, you know, I'd like to play in the NBA, but we're not NBA guys. They have NBA guys, and you know, then you get invited to summer league, and you're on the Oklahoma City roster. What was that like? Going from a guy who, was sick outwardly accordingly. I like to play, but I don't think I'm going to. I want to play professional basketball. To getting that opportunity to showcase yourself in front of I mean, it's a big. You're on a roster technically, but it's a scouting thing, So like
Yeah.
getting that opportunity to be scouted like that.
Yeah, no, I mean it was awesome. Yeah, obviously like when I gave that interview, I was just thinking about how like all week we talked about how talented Kentucky was in our scouting and all that stuff, and we knew they had lottery picks, and um, I wasn't so much like trying to hate on the players on our team as much as I was just trying to give those guys their props and know that they're going to be
Mhm.
great, successful NBA players. So,
Oh yeah,
yeah, I never have in my life have had expectations of making it to the NBA, and I'm still a long ways from doing so. But I was super lucky to then get the opportunity to go to summer league, something that I've just been a huge basketball fan my whole life, so I always watched summer league and followed all the different teams and all the new draft picks that were playing in the summer. So to be a part of that and get to play in Vegas and experience that and wear an NBA jersey of a real team and all that type of stuff was definitely really cool and something that even if it didn't go exactly as I would have loved, like didn't play as much as I wanted to, it was still a cool experience and something that I'll never forget and something I'll always be able to say that I wore an NBA jersey, like all that type of stuff. Not something that a ton of people get to do. So I definitely feel fortunate for that and just to have had the opportunity and been invited. And I hope that I can go back this summer and maybe get a bigger opportunity and kind of make something happen, but we'll see.
Heck yeah. I mean, you had some, NBA guys on your team. You had AJ Mitchell, who's been killing it, with
Yeah,
Thunder
he's a great
now.
player.
Usman Zhang, he's in and out of the roster, like in and out of the lineups for them. I mean, gotta shout out, current Greensboro Swarm, Keontae Johnson. You play with him too.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get him on the show right now too. To talking to him a little bit with his agent. So hopefully that works out. But I'm a Hornets guy
Yeah, that'd be
first.
great.
You gotta shout out the Hornets
No,
guys.
absolutely.
But was the talent like just night and day when you been in there like practicing with those guys? And what is that like? Going from a guy who was playing D2 basketball 13 months before, 14 months before to being with NBA players. What's that like?
Yeah, I would say like the biggest thing was we actually played at one time when we were in Vegas. A lot of the Thunder players were there for
Mm-hmm.
just a couple days, and there was one day where some of us went and we scrimmaged against the Thunder guys. We played some 5-on-5, and that was kind of like because that was a moment where it wasn't even just a summer league team. It was like we were playing against the full team of
Mm-hmm.
NBA players, and that was yeah, a great experience, something where you could kind of measure yourself up and see like how good these guys are, like what are their talents and all this type of stuff, where do they fit in? And to be able to play in that situation was really good for me because I feel like I kind of learned about like where you have to get to, like what to expect and all those little things of being in the NBA. And yeah, the level is just it's so high. It's athleticism, it's skill, it's shot making, all that type of stuff. And I feel like I'm there on a shot making level. And I feel like I can compete that way, but it's the other things that I got to keep getting better at and keep trying to excel at, and then obviously continue to improve my shot making as well, so that I can stand out in that way when the other things aren't quite as good. So yeah, it's just an absolute process, but to be able to learn and see kind of what to expect or what level you got to get to is definitely something that kind of helped my perspective.
That's great insight there. It's cool you guys got the. I know
Yeah,
like
it's
a lot
cool.
of teams get a lot of guys out there. I mean, there's that Hornets again. I saw
Yeah.
most of the Hornets team was out there for some of their games. Like
Hmm.
there's a photo of them all sitting courtside for one of them.
Yeah.
So I mean, Vegas is a place I want to get out to go to summer league because it's just like everybody's out just walking
Yeah.
around. I've heard some really cool
No, it's a
stories and seen some
definitely
cool
a cool
stuff.
event to have all like the whole basketball world is there basically, and it's just a
Yeah,
really cool event to have everybody there. It's like the Final Four is that way with college basketball, and then summer league is that way with NBA. Like everyone's just there for that one event.
and it's so big, but it's from what I've heard, it feels like pretty small too. Like everybody's just there walking around.
Yeah,
It's got to
absolutely.
be pretty cool. So don't get picked up immediately coming out of there. What happens after that? Do you go back to Wisconsin? Or are you living in Michigan again? Like what's your mindset? What's your thought process? What are you doing between then and when you get picked up into the G League?
Yeah, so I went summer league ended like end of July, and then I
Mm-hmm.
was just talking with my agent to teams and stuff like that, and ended up signing a contract to go overseas for the season, and I went and played in Montenegro. It wasn't the best situation. Things didn't really work out very well. I just don't think it was a great fit. Like
Mm-hmm.
stylistically, the type of basketball they play just wasn't super conducive to how I play. So things just didn't work out well, and I decided that it would be best to come back and try to join the G League and get on a roster here and kind of try my best with that style of play and a new opportunity there. So yeah, I got picked up by the Herd and had some great opportunities right away against against the Swarm in Greensboro, were my
Mm-hmm.
first couple games and played a bunch of minutes, and that was definitely an adjustment of kind of just getting thrown right into it because there were some injured guys and playing a lot of minutes, and it was super fun to have that experience. I felt like I definitely could have performed better, but I knew getting thrown into that situation that there was definitely gonna be a lot to learn and a lot to pick up on pretty fast. So yeah, I mean, getting into the G League was exciting, and once again, another thing that I never could have expected to happen when I was playing D2 basketball or anything like that. So one of those milestones that I think looking back on my career, I'll be pretty proud of. But for now, yeah, still trying to keep climbing the ranks and get to the higher levels.
Heck yeah. I mean, and then from what it looks like, you got signed by the Herd on Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
That was one of the reports I saw. And then that's, you're from Wisconsin, you get signed to, the Bucks G League team. And then after that, I mean, you've since been traded over to the Cruise, 30 minutes away from where you played college ball, like in Oakland, and not too far. I mean, kind of like 2 hours away from Hillsdale. Like very serendipitous how that all worked out. I mean, were you a Bucks fan growing up?
Actually, I was a Celtics fan. I don't really have any good reasons for that, but I was a Celtics fan growing up. So I tried to erase that history when I got picked up by the Herd. But
you're like, I'm a Wisconsin boy. I'm sorry.
Exactly.
I rooted for a team who wore green. I promise.
Yeah, exactly. But my friends definitely thought that was really funny. That they're like, oh, sorry, you're not a Celtics fan anymore. But I mean, as soon as I kind of got like to Oakland and then started trying to like pursue that professional route, that was when I kind of gave up the NBA fandom a little bit, just because I wanted to try to get to that level and compete with those guys. So yeah, I couldn't really be a fan anymore.
Yeah, I mean, even like just me starting this, I mean, I'm pretty new to doing the whole media stuff. Like, I'm trying to walk the line of like, am I a fan? Am I professional? Like,
No,
I'm a rep my Hornets, but I mean, I can only imagine being a professional athlete. But I mean, you got to rep the whatever team you're on.
Exactly.
I mean, when you were there, like, who was KG? I like Luke and Mute. That's who I was rocking with.
Exactly.
But so you play, what is it, 11 minutes per game? You shot 37% from three when you were with the Herd. Play 20 games.
Okay.
37%.
Honestly, I started at like 45, and then I had a stretch of not shooting very well, so I didn't even check because I was like, I don't even want to know, because I thought I was doing really bad.
It's
but
like
37 is not too bad.
It's like 36.5. We round up. We round up.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
You got to. Yeah, no, definitely. You got to round up. At least the percentages. I'll be more specific on the numbers, but like percentages, we're gonna round.
Absolutely, you definitely round.
And then you get traded to the Motor City Cruise. I mean, I'm gonna be real. Like, I'm a big hoops guy, but I just got into watching the G League more this year. I'm trying to understand more. I didn't know trades happened in the G. I'm gonna be real with you. I didn't know that happened, but I saw your tweet, which kind of started this all, saying got traded. What was that like? I mean, did you have any? Did you know before? Like, did your agent like call you or something? And like, hey, this might happen, or?
Yeah, it was crazy because the Herd were making some roster moves, looking for a big guy, and they kind of told me like that I was potentially going to get waived, and then they still wanted me, and they said they would pick me back up because there were, like I said, there was some shifting that they had to do with the roster, and they're like, okay, we have to waive you, but we'll pick you up in a couple days. But it's possible that another team will want to pick you up and claim you right away when we drop you. So that was just like, what was that? Maybe two weeks ago or a week ago, Thursday night, and I was kind of just ready for maybe a new opportunity, but I didn't expect to be traded. I expected to be waived and then kind of wait a day or two and then figure out where I was going to go.
So my
agent just called me the next morning, and he's like, oh, so you just got traded, you're heading to Detroit. And I was like, oh, like, didn't expect that at all. It wasn't one of the teams that we had been talking to or expecting. But I mean, I was super excited about it. Obviously, like you said, Detroit, kind of like a second home for me, and where I've kind of been more so as an adult or as I've been growing up, college-wise and stuff like that. So, yeah, I love it here and super excited to be back. In my first home game the other day, the fans showed a ton of love and stuff, so that was really awesome. Cool. And yeah, just super happy to be back here in Detroit.
Yeah, it was kind of like, seems like fate, the way everything worked out with, just in general, your whole career, like, just, a couple threes and go your way against Cleveland State, maybe you don't make the tournament, and then, now you're playing for, your home state team, and then your other home state team afterwards getting traded. I mean, very serendipitous. It's super cool. I mean, it's got to be so neat. That's kind of like, we've kind of caught you up to where we are now. I mean, you said
Hmm.
you just moved into your apartment, right? Like you just got out
Yeah,
there.
literally just moved to my apartment last night.
That's awesome. So, I mean, it's been so fun talking to you. I just have one more thing. It's a little kind of rapid fire thing. I'm calling it in the bonus. So I'm just gonna give you a couple questions.
Yeah, let's do it.
You're gonna shoot it back at me as fast as you can. Okay. So, who's your favorite Hooper of all time?
Paul Pierce.
Paul Pierce. Truth, man. I got you. And then, who's your toughest matchup you've ever had? I mean, you talked about the OKC guys. You guard Shea?
He was not there that day actually. But yeah, if that counts, if like an open gym type run counts, then probably Jalen Williams. Yeah, from
No,
OKC is obviously a tremendous player.
I can only imagine. Okay, you and Trey Townsend 101 right now at 211. What's the final score? Who wins?
Depends on the rules. Are we playing ones and twos? Does it make you take it? All that type of stuff. If we're starting at the block,
Ones, twos, you get ball first.
okay, then I'm winning then because I got to make only 5 or 6 threes to win, and he's got to make 10 layups. So I'm definitely winning.
Okay. If your hoop dreams didn't come to fruition, what would you be doing right now? I know you got the accounting degree from Hillsdale. I mean, was that the goal? Was that the plan? I'm going to be an accountant.
I've always liked numbers and doing stuff with numbers, but I don't know if I wouldn't be doing great if I was sitting at a desk right now. So honestly, if the hoop dreams didn't work out, maybe coaching, maybe some sort of like mentorship like that. I just really appreciate all the hard work that people have kind of poured into me over my basketball career. So I want to do the same with other people.
That's awesome. Okay, you live in the hills there for 5 years. Which bar is better? Here's to you, Pub and Grub or Rough Draft?
Pub and Grove.
Pub and Grub, I got you. Okay, finally. Greg Campy or John Calipari?
Greg Gampy.
Do you feel any responsibility that John Calipari, no our coaches over at Kentucky?
He's making a lot of money. He's doing.
He's making a lot. I think he got paid. You got a pay raise there. Awesome. Well, dude, it was so much fun having you on. Hopefully, we'll get you on again someday. Might be going up to Greensboro to see you play
awesome.
next Wednesday or this upcoming Wednesday. So, thank you so much. You got anything you want to say to the people?
No, man, I can't really say go Hornets, but yeah, appreciate you having me on, and yeah, it's great to meet you and chop it up.
I'm gonna clip the go Hornets part, and that's it. Awesome, man. Thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me.